Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome after lunch break. Let's start into our first afternoon session called Running Ideas. Number one, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Christoph. He's the guy who had maybe the longest journey getting here because according to the program he comes from Australia. No, just joking. He comes from Technikum, Wien, and he's going to do his presentation on a kind of a case study conducted in the context of his bachelor thesis, and the title is Production Planning, Subject-Oriented and Alternative Solutions for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises.
Thank you for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my presentation of Production Planning, Subject-Oriented and Alternative Solution for SMEs. Today I will tell you something about a case study, a practical example of implementing production planning in an SME with the help of subject-oriented process management. First of all, I will give a short overview about production planning as it is generally known and about the definition of SMEs. Then I will explain in a little bit more detail the company in which I have implemented production planning and the problems of implementation. And finally I will present you the subject-oriented approach I've worked out. Today I will tell you nothing about the historical developments of production planning and mathematical formulas which I've used. Furthermore, I'll tell you nothing about different PPS systems or IT systems, and this is not a new application of a PPS system. So, production planning, as it is generally known, as you can see, is divided into 3 planning stages, into primary requirements planning, secondary requirements planning, and data and capacity planning. In primary requirements planning, companies want to investigate the types of products they have to produce and the amount of these products. Furthermore, they define a planning period which serves as time horizon for the production plan. In secondary requirements planning, the companies want to investigate the materials they are needed for their production plan. So which raw materials are needed, which auxiliary and expendable items are needed, and so on. And finally, in data and capacity planning, companies schedule their orders. So they define starting dates, ending dates, delivery dates, and they make the adjustments for their capacity so that they can ensure there is enough capacity and the correct capacity for their production plan. This is how production planning is generally described in literature. Then to the definition of SMEs, as you can see, it's divided into quantitative attributes and qualitative attributes. Quantitative attributes say that SME must have fewer than 500 employees. The annual turnover of an SME is less than 50 million euros per annual turnover per year, and they have less market share. And as you can see, these quantitative attributes are very easy to check out. Then we come to the qualitative attributes, which are not that easy to check out because these are attributes like that SMEs have limited financing options, or they don't like to assume risks, the managers are often the owners, and so on. So with this basic knowledge of I will come to the description of the company in which I implemented production planning. The company is called Leopoldine Prochaska GmbH. GmbH is the Austrian legal description for companies, and actually it could be compared with limited liability companies. As you can see, it's a metalworking shop with 25 employees. The annual turnover is less than 1.8 million euros, and they are operating only in Vienna and the surrounding areas of Vienna in Austria. And So if we just look at the quantitative data, we can surely say that this company is an SME. More S than M, but it's an SME. When we look at the qualitative data, we see that the qualitative attributes of the definition of SMEs, we see already here these attributes because this company has limited financing options. Then the owners of the company always want to be on the safe side. They don't like to assume risk. The limited utilization of modern management methods is a little bit difficult for me because I'm studying international business and engineer, and there we learn modern management methods. When I come to the company and say to the boss, hey, there are modern management methods, we can do it better, we can do it much more efficient, then I always heard, yeah, we make it 30 years this way, we don't want to change anything. A little bit difficult for me. And of course the managers are the owners. So that leads me directly to the problems of the implementation. Because when the boss of the company came to me and said, yeah, Christoph, you have the course production planning, so please implement a production planning system in our company. But I have known that the company has not money to invest in a PPS system or to buy a PPS system. Furthermore, if the company would buy such a system, they would not have the knowledge to use the system in a correct way. So these were the biggest issues for me, because I have to find a system which doesn't cost anything and which can be used by everyone. Another problems are that the order entries of the company are very randomly, and if there are fixed orders, change and interruption of these orders are very likely. And especially in the service and repair department, the product which is offered is mainly a service. So the secondary requirements planning is very difficult to do because there are not, it is very difficult to define the items and the materials which are needed. So, and at this time I've read the book Subject-Oriented Process Management by Albert Fleischmann, and then I thought that I should combine production planning, the methods of production planning, the tools of production planning, with the idea of subject-oriented process management. And the subject-oriented approach I've worked out, you see here. First of all, I've defined the surrounding processes of production planning. These processes, sub-processes, are order entry and order approval. As you can see, everything starts with the receipt of an order, per mail, per phone, per fax. This order is given to the secretary. The secretary enters this order into the database. When the order is entered into the database, the order is given to the department head. When the department head has the order, the process is finished. Looks very simple, is very simple, but I can tell you, before we define these sub-processes, it wasn't that simple. So then we come to the order approval, to the sub-process order approval. This process starts with the receipt of an order from the secretary to the department head, and then the activity order check starts. This activity is the sub-process production planning. We see here. So I call it order check, you also can call it production planning. The process starts with the activity order check. And then you see different modules, components, and there I've made nothing else than the different methods, the different tools of production planning. I've made 2 activities, 2 single modules, and according to the requirements of the company, you can use these modules you are needing. So this is especially for the service and repair department. There we need the calculation of the forecast, which is done once a month, the linear optimization, which is done half a year, and inventory policy, which is done once a year. Why I've chosen these 3 methods? Calculation of the forecast and the linear optimization are primary requirements planning. These 2 methods we use to define or to calculate the optimal lot size. So with these 2 methods, we know how many orders should be done per week. The inventory policy is kind of secondary requirements planning, because in the service and repair department, we only need auxiliary and expendable items like screws, nails, and so on, and some special products like door closers, fittings, cylinders. But these products are not produced by the company. These products are supplied to the company, and the delivery time of these products is maximum 2 days. So I thought about to implement a reorder point system. So when one product or item, or the amount of this product or item reached a certain point, then a determined amount of this product is reordered. And this inventory policy is updated once a year. So when the calculations are finished, then the data is stored and given to the department head. Then the process is finished. Then we came back to the process order approval. And then with the data, with the results of the calculation, the department head can decide either the order is released because the lot size is not reached yet, or the order is given into the input pool where the order is waiting for the next release, for example. When the order is released, it is given to the employee, then the process is finished. And so the whole process, production planning, is defined for the company. It is understandable because these 3 production planning methods, therefore I've entered some formulas into an Excel file, and so the users of production planning, they only have to enter some numbers and get the results immediately. And what are the results of this implementation? As we can see, production planning is used and understand. And these 2 points make me very proud, because I couldn't believe it that this is possible. Furthermore, the delays in delivery decreased from 4.5 days per contract to 0.5 days per contract, and the complaints decreased from 10 per week to 2 per week, which are very good results, I think. And so I have to say, subject-oriented process management is, for me, a method with which complicated processes can be made understandable, especially for persons who are involved in these processes. And then the work itself would be much more efficient, as I have seen in this case study. And I think that should be the target of every company. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you, Christoph. Very impressive figures at the end. Questions from the audience? everybody's still sleeping in the afternoon, right after lunch, and maybe no one had coffee. Questions? So then, of course, I need to maybe break the ice. Christoph, you at the end you said S-BPM, from your point of view, is a good method, a good way to model processes in a setting like you described, with few people not experienced with methods and tools. Did you really confront the people in this company with the methods, with the behavior pictures you showed, or was it just you who asked people and then draw these pictures?
We worked out these processes together, so that we describe processes, or that we describe the processes in that way, how they really work. So we described it together, and they said yes to this method, to this description.
Okay, so you kind of use the modeling interface like we can see upstairs with flip chart and building blocks or Metaplan cards and pens. Okay, and we always, in S-BPM, people always claim the method to be very intuitive. Is this something you can confirm from the experience with people here in production?
Absolutely. Of course, absolutely. I have to say yes.
I hope it's on video. Okay, any more questions from you? Maybe there are some question marks still in your brains. Now, Christoph.
So my question is, did you start right away, so from greenfield, where there are no processes ever documented, or was there somehow classical business process management already in the company?
No, of course, I started from a green field, and that's one point which I think is very important to see it, because especially in East Austria there were very few companies who know about process management. There are many companies who have no idea about process management, respectively subject-oriented process management. So I've started from a green field.
Any more questions? If not, I have another one related to what you asked. You said, okay, there was a green field, and you modeled the process. So is it now a model of an SMEs model, or did people, when they said, okay, we do it that way and that way, did they already make suggestions for like improving of what they currently do?
Yeah, there are suggestions of improving some processes. It's kind of steady improvements, so which are very important, I think. And then we remodel the processes.
Okay, thank you. All right, last chance for another question. If not, thanks again. Big hand for Christoph.
Thank you.